So it's just after 5:30, 9th of June 2023. I've just brushed my hair. I've just jumped downstairs, as has been my wont for the last 2 years, maybe even 3, maybe longer. I am exhausted. Yeah. The ideas that I'm trying to channel into my book, which is here, are quite ambitious, quite big. I wanted to try and channel my thoughts of the day. This is the book here. Good Being, The Meaning of Life System, The Owner's Manual for Love, Life and Livelihood. I've finished all of the chapters. I'm not even sure if I'm pointing this in the right direction, but chapter 14 and chapter 25, how to meld meaning and codify purpose, and our golden legacy, coherence needs some work, and meek circle, straight pleasure needs some work. The reason I'm doing this video is because last night I watched a YouTube video from a YouTuber called Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, I think his name is. His guest was Gawdat. Gawdat's book I read coming up to 2 years ago. Maybe it was only 18 months ago. But the future of artificial intelligence and how to save the world is the theme of the book, from the former chief business officer of Google X. And he wrote a book prior to that called Solve for Happy. We have something in common in that we have navigated the trauma of child loss. His was extremely harrowing, but enough of that here. He thinks in the podcast, which I may share if I ever share this video, that we are past the point of emergency when it comes to artificial intelligence's grasp of history. And I do too. He was offered the chance as to who he would phone by Stephen. If he could phone anybody and have one phone call for 60 seconds, who would he call? And he said Albert Einstein, because of his wanting to understand how Einstein resolved such a massively complex problem as space-time with such a simple solution, as if it was obvious all the time, which is fair enough. But he says, what would be the solution that one might come up with today? And I honestly do think I have it. And it's acutely obvious again. And it is that humanity's evolution has been hijacked by a mishearing of what another human pioneering thinker said, and that was Charles Darwin, when Hubert Spencer mistranslated and misquoted and paraphrased Charles Darwin's theory of evolution into the inaccurate, this is about survival of the fittest, upon which the whole economy has been built. A mishearing, when in actual fact what Charles Darwin knew only too well was that without cooperation, without love, benevolence, kindness, compassion, and a commitment to serving others, humanity would not have survived. We would never have sustained ourselves through long, harsh winters and droughts and famines and long periods of profound hardship. we couldn't have done that if we were fighting each other. And what I claim in my book is that history has been rewritten by the victors, and the victors tend to be the small percent of the most malicious, pernicious, aggressive, pugnacious, dysfunctional personalities in society, and they tend to rise to the top because of their dysfunction. Whereas the meek and the cooperative and the kind and the compassionate are at far greater risk of being led down a path towards disaster, which is conflict, which is hardship, which is volatility, which is scarcity. And scarcity is what is driving the world and the world's economy right now. And artificial intelligence is designed with scarcity in mind, because what it's going to do, it's going to eradicate, according to Goldman Sachs's recent report, it's going to eradicate something like 300 million jobs. And I would say, they say in 5 years, I say it's probably going to be 1 billion jobs. So of this almost 8 billion people who live on planet Earth, approximately 3.5 billion are of working age, and the rest of the population depend upon that under 50% for their survival. So the other big factor going on behind in this landscape here is a lot of people have been panicking about overpopulation for many years, and me too. I thought I was distracted by that, but that's just a red herring. Population is about to collapse. Global population is on the brink of significant decline, with countries like Japan, I believe Italy, Spain, probably not the United States. Apparently they allow 1 million people into the country every year. Whether that's to tackle depopulation or whether it's to brace their economy, it is debatable. I don't know the answer to that. But going back to the solution, it's love. It really, really is love. I am a latter-day hippie, as I say in my book. The high watermark of human endeavour was probably 1969, as controversial as that is for you to hear, of this raggedy old fella early on a Friday morning here up in the Highlands of Scotland. And the chances of me achieving this reverse polarity of society, where we become far more comfortable within ourselves and self-accepting with improved knowledge of who we are, in order that we are comfortable and confident and together and centered and grown up enough to be able to love other people unconditionally too. That's the obstacle that we have to negotiate, and in order to get around the other side of this absolutely prolific, inconceivably massive shockwave which is coming in our direction. So some of the things that I'm considering is as a solution in terms of forcing this reversing of polarity of the economy from serving a very small number of people who probably are quite malevolent in the way that they can bury their conscience, if they have one at all, and shifting this polarity towards an idea of abundance and cooperation and love that serves the majority of people on the planet. And that majority is 99% of the people are really struggling to live and lead and shape and form and craft a meaningful life. And this is about meaning. Artificial intelligence is going to obliterate permanently the notion of leading a meaningful life as we surrogate and hand over our work to a new creed of artificially intelligent beings who are coming. We've created them. The funny thing is, if there is such a thing as spinning this into some sort of a dark humour, is that in all these laboratories around the world and all of these skunk works, these, labs of creative technological thinking, where these geeks and dweebs and nerds and, pretty, without discriminating against autistic people, pretty people who are on the spectrum, who aren't necessarily known for their compassion or their emotional fluidity, emotional fluency. They are creating this code which is unimaginably clever. It's accelerating massively beyond ChatGPT-4. Is already allegedly as clever as Einstein, and within, as Gawdat says in the film, within a very short period of time will be hundreds of thousands of times more intelligent than the collective knowledge of humanity. Had these people in their skunk works and these tech labs been working on a weapon of mass destruction, a nerve agent perhaps that had the potential to kill humans on mass scale, which was the excuse used by Tony Blair and George Bush to invade Iraq back in 2002 or 3, whenever it was. We'd have been on them collectively as the United Nations like a ton of bricks. We would have been invading their laboratories with a genuine, tangible sense of urgency to shut those laboratories down. Yet, here we are, pretending that this isn't happening and allowing, without any regulation whatsoever, these techies in their laboratories to produce and craft and create and craft and refine their code in such a way that it's going to leap out of their laboratories into the internet, and we're producing something which is not potentially has the potential to render Skynet in the Terminator, or whoever the baddies were in the Star Wars movies, and all of these dystopian, far-fetched science fiction topics, or turn it into some sort of insane and completely naive reality. To think that we can get this genie back in the bottle is berserk. And it's actually just as berserk to think that we're letting these people who clearly are not responsible enough, do not possess the moral fibre or the ethical framework to control their curiosities in such a way that serves and protects the rest of humanity. 300 million livelihoods robbed means how many families starve? And we're already wobbling post-pandemic. So the kick in the teeth that's coming for humanity of our own design beggars belief. Absolutely beggars belief. So the solution is cooperation. The solution may well be a mass boycott of these technology companies, somehow trying to live our lives in a terrestrial way again, in a non-digital way again, until such time as we know how we can leverage the good of absolutely undeniable, dynamic strides forward in the opportunity to solve problems facing humanity like cancer, like, what do we do about energy? What do we do about running society in a fair way, leveraging the power that artificial intelligence is, and AGI, artificial general intelligence, the singularity of breakthrough offer us. So I've talked for longer than I was expecting, which tends to be the case with me, but I've had a lot to get down and capture, because I've got to turn this, if it doesn't come out into a film, into my YouTube channel, because I'm too vain to think I could go live with Sleephead, that I'm going to translate it into the final chapter of my book. Big love, peace and purpose. Let's all try and act with grace and kindness, because that is the only way we are going to survive as a species. It's that simple.